Get your hands in the air now. Right now, right now. I said it goes like this. Her name was Lois Lane, and it wasn't their fault. They couldn't help but gawk when she walked into the room. She had on cheap perfume, some kind of jealous gloom. These boys would act like they would laugh, but I could tell they wanted to follow her back to her room. As for myself, I put the notion right on the shelf. How hard it is to be blown away, 'cause I could clearly not withstand the damage of falling for Miss Lois Lane. She started walking out, walking out, walking out, when I decided to plead for her heart. She shine, shine. They would stare and you know why, all dolled up like it was prom night. And I can't help but think of her right now, 'cause her name was Lois Lane, and it wasn't their fault, They couldn't help but gawk when she walked into the room. She had on cheap perfume, some kind of jealous gloom. These boys would act like they would laugh, but I could tell they wanted to follow her back to her room. 'Cause her name was Lois Lane, her name. As for myself, I put the notion right on the shelf. How hard it is to be blown away. I clearly could not withstand the damage of falling for Miss Lois Lane. My name is Clark, and I love her.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Uncommon Podcast, our 187th live stream. And happy Aloha Friday, everyone. We've made it to the end of the weekend. We are here. It's time to relax and chill. We have an awesome guest in the studio. The VeVeverse is still live and it's still going great and strong. It is such a beautiful day, everyone. But before we even get started with this awesome program, we're going to get my awesome wife in the studio right now. Dee, how are you?
Hello, awesome husband. I am great. Happy Aloha Friday. Happy Aloha Friday to everybody in the chats that's watching and listening in. Thank you guys and gals for tuning in. Yeah, it's a great day. It is a beautiful day outside. We do have the windows open, so you may hear a leaf blower guy blowing his leaves outside. I don't know why. There's like not that many leaves outside, but I guess he's got to meet his quota or something.
But you see who's outside? It's the county. The county is outside, so it's just very fitting that they start working at 2 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. But that's okay.
Right.
But anyways, Dee, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I was telling our guests earlier, like the day just went by because we were on Oz's thing, listening to him and Richard talking, and then I was like, whoa, we have like an hour before the show. So yeah, I don't know, like it just kind of went by really quickly, and yeah, it's like time just flies by, and I wasn't like having the best time of my life, but it just flew by. What about you?
Wait, what does that mean?
Time flies when you're having fun, and it's like I was like not really doing anything like super productive.
Don't lie to the audience.
Honest,
we were
not
both
saying
in
that
the
your
VeVeverse.
show is not productive, man. I'm just
we were both in the
out.
VeVeverse before you came on.
I was
anyways.
adding more trees to my 11 trees. Now I have 12.
Woo, there you go.
Anyway.
You're getting a rainforest.
Anyways, what about you, Hinata?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I'm doing good. I didn't have to go into the office today. I worked from home, which basically means
Nice.
I worked half my day and I played on the VeVeVerse. So yes, you can work and play on the VeVeVerse. I would not suggest it at your office, but at home you can get away with it a little bit. But my day's good. It's even gonna get more awesome. We have an awesome guest in the studio. I love doing this show, guys. This is one of our favorite shows to do out of the 500 shows that we're doing now. D. This one is like very special to us, and so it's really awesome to have this special guest in the studio. But before we get her in, we have a commercial break. We will be right back.
Let's go. And I think it's coming up to that time. It is a time from a word from our sponsors.
Dropmaster, Dropmaster, Dropmaster.
Yes, collectors. How may I be of service?
Hi, Mr. Dropmaster. We love VeVe, but we still feel like something is missing.
What could possibly be missing? VeVe has the best IP from Marvel, Disney, DC, Universal, and many others. High quality comics and collectibles right at your fingertips.
We know and we really do love everything VeVe offers, but there is still one IP that VeVe has yet to secure.
What you talking about, little bird?
We are talking about the most talented artist in all of the interwebs.
Not only is he the most energetic and talented artist on the planet, he's also kind, generous, and a little bit spicy.
He truly is the perfect representation of the VeVe community.
All right. I have heard enough. I will grant you your wish.
Oh, thank you, Dropmaster.
On November 15th, 2025, at precisely 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Kid Arcade Skull and Bones Gold Silver High Quality Digital Collectible will drop on VeVe. This premium piece will only have 777 editions, being that they're all secret rares. And the first available public mint will be number one. The list price for this piece will be a modest $59.99.
60 gems? Yo, chill.
Not financial advice. This is not real, but it could be.
It's always like a little slow, but we get there. We get there.
You got it.
I try not to laugh out loud before the do.
Guys, tune into VeVe Radios every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with the biggest bro, Raven. They're both in the chats. I see you. And also D1 and Only. And back to your regular scheduled programming. D, who do we have today?
Today, I'm pretty sure everybody knows her. She adds a little bit of magic to everyone's day. It took us quite a while to finally get her on. I know she's been really busy, but it's been an honor to have her finally on our channel. So please, everyone, help us in welcoming VeVeMagic.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Crypto Magic Hour, VeVe Discord mod, and also the integral part of the sandwich, VeVeMagic.
What's up,
Aloha.
Magic?
How are you,
Oh,
Magic?
she would have shakas.
Gotta hit you with the shaka.
Let's go. Hang loose, everybody. How are you, Magic?
I'm doing great. TGIF. Very happy to be here. This is how I want to kick off my weekend. So thank you guys for having me.
Let's go. And thank you for
Let's go.
joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. We got to actually meet Magic in Vegas for the first time, and that was really awesome to get to meet you and so much other people. And it's so good to finally get to continue this conversation with you, as well as the audience as well. Dee, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know we didn't get a lot of time to talk in Vegas, but we did get to say hi and give hugs, and so I'm glad we're doing this here so we can, get to know you a little bit better since we didn't get a chance to. And if we get to meet again sometime this year, we can continue the conversation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to talk. Yeah.
And the producer wanted to say hi.
I love that. And yeah, you guys were working your little tushies off in Vegas. So I think that was the only time that we saw each other was at the arcade party. And yeah, it was very lovely to finally, meet you guys in person. But I know you all were busy. You guys were doing a lot of amazing things at that event. Like that was a stellar event put on by the community. So
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was cold, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Heck yeah, it was cold. Like, can DCOM be like in the summertime in Vegas?
Right.
It gets hot, right, in Vegas? It's not always cold,
you don't want it in the summer though.
Yeah, you don't want to go in the summer.
Too hot?
You don't want 115, no.
Well,
okay, I want it just right.
But so Dee is actually from a tiny island called Yap, and over there it's like 1,000% humidity. So Dee's actually pretty used to the heat, so she might actually be used to the Vegas stuff. But when we got to VeVeMagic, we got off the plane, I said, "Hun, it's like 45 degrees, and it's going to drop even lower." You've never experienced that before, by the way. You better put on your jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just stay on the plane, please?
Yeah, I can't. I love it. Slammy's commented. She's like, cold, LOL, because like that's still not like really cold. Like the Vegas cold is not really cold, but I'm the same way. Like I'm a wimp today. I woke up and it was 40 degrees and I was like, oh heck no, that's too cold.
That's chapped lip already.
But generally speaking, California has like really good weather. But it'd be hard for me to live anywhere else. I could definitely do Hawaii, probably Florida, but cold climates are a no-go for me.
And I can actually relate to that because I used to live in Costa Mesa back in 2004, right on Harbor and Fairview, right on Orange. So awesome. I used to love the weather. I used to like hanging down on PCH. I love that drive. I'm sure it's changed since then. I haven't been out there in a while, but anyways, we'll get into all of that a little bit later. We're just going to dive right into it, Magic. And it's just kind of like a default question we ask everybody. But could you kind of give us an idea on how you got into this community, the VeVe fam? How did you find VeVe for the first time? And describe to us your very first drop.
Yeah, so I Silicon Secure, just when that guy wanted something done, he was persistent, and he very rarely did so unless it was something he felt like great conviction about. Otherwise he was very, very easygoing, and he was just very convicted about VeVe. And so he just kept talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I saw what it was and I was like, I don't really get it. Like, it's not my jam. But he just wouldn't lay off. And so, download the app. He's like, if all you do is, get a couple of Tods from the store, I'll be happy. And so did that. I got my own account. We had one account just as a family, and I did my own account a little bit later in April 2021. And I'm trying to remember what my first drop was. I want to say one of the first collectibles I ever purchased was a Kripken. And I think I did that on drop, but I don't exactly remember. I'm pretty sure I did. And then, everything just spawned from there. And it's just like when I really sit back and take the time and rewind the tape of everything that's happened and how far, there's a lot of people in the community that can be very just like focused on right here, right now, want this, need that, need this, need that. And like, forget, like, I was just thinking about this today, listening to O'Malley's space at the end of his VeVeVerse space he did. where they played games and stuff, and he was talking about like the past and everything. And it's like for the people that have really been here, and you actually do sit and take a moment to think of the progression, it's mind blowing. Not only through the app and what the company has done. Granted, yes, it's slower than what everybody hoped for, was told, all that. But also in terms of the community, like just the way in which the community has grown and evolved is crazy. The way in which all of us have grown and evolved and become, um, more present, creating more. I mean, you guys are just killing it with all the. I don't know how you do it. Like that's a question I have for you guys.
Thank you.
But we're seeing even more creators now. You've got Master Ernie in the chat, who's now he's been in Discord. I've been talking to him for almost 3 years, and now he's showing up on camera because he has a story to tell. And you're seeing a lot more people. Masomi, he was on stage today in Spaces, not really comfortable being in Spaces.
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful just to see the community also grow and progress over time. Like I think it's awesome.
I love that. And I kind of want to rewind about like us kind of like being where we are now, or at least for D and I, because when we first started, we were basically the people that are watching us now. We were the people in the chat interacting, and we did a lot of interaction, mainly in my collectibles chat. That was where we hung out the most. And then we spread out, and then years later, we're up here now. But it's very full circle to be up here talking with you and talking to everyone else, and then completing this kind of like journey from when we first started to now. And now it's completely different, right? We have like this VeVeVerse thing that's come on, this like, and I feel like now it's just like it's evolving into something more. I mean, it's the same but different and more. I don't know, D, what do you think?
No, I pretty sure, I think I understand you. Yeah, I mean, I've seen progression, like, and I think a lot of what it is like when people actually take the first step to actually go to a real, like, in-person real life event, that makes them like even more confident to like maybe come up on Spaces, to show their face again on YouTube or other streaming services. Because you can just be like stuck behind your phone screen, and you don't really know people until, or at least a little bit more of them, until you're in front of them in real life, that you're like, okay, these people are, they were strangers at once. We became acquaintances, over DMs and whatnot. And now that we're face to face, they're really not that bad. So, so I think that has a lot of part to play in people just getting more confident in, starting up their YouTube channel. They're more confident and be like, I have this kind of collecting journey that I want to share with the world. I shared it a little bit with my friends that I met in Vegas. So now I actually want to put it out more to everyone else. And like for me personally, I've gained a lot more confidence in myself to be on camera and also talking publicly. Every once in a while I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like such a screw up. I'm like not doing the best. I could do better. But, I think everyone just kind of feels that same way. But for sure,
Authenticity is key. Authenticity, you can never screw up if you're authentic. Don't worry about little mistakes, because if you're authentic, then everybody gets it, It's all good.
So, yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of progression from myself personally, and everyone, and a lot of people from the community. So, yeah, we've all come a long way. I don't know, that I kind of went into a tangent with that. So I hope that answered your question.
No, and that's the best thing right there. And that's why we like to do these conversations, Magic, is we like to go into the tangents and kind of like find the little tender moments of people's journeys throughout this. And so we talk about the community, and we've all been in it for a while. I love this community, and I really, it harkens back to what David said a few years back about this being our third place. Now, we all have in real life friends and family, and my family knows about this. They know what we do here. I mean, we have to tell them all stuff like this because, I mean, we have like 4 or 5 shows we're running. So besides our personal life and our real life, we also do this. And, some of my family, they're like, this is why are you collecting stuff digitally, or why are you dealing with crypto? Like, ew, you know what I mean? And so I don't really like to bring them into this world, but when we talk to the people here, and there's a ton of people here, we all get it, and we all have like an understanding with each other, and then that understanding leads to like other conversations, leads to friendships, leads to connections, leads to networking and all that aspect in between, and which then builds this community, which then builds this space. And that's like one of the biggest things that I love about this and why we're here. But for yourself and being a part of this community, did you ever think that you were going to be where you are now? Because like you said, we all kind of started off, we downloaded the app and we went for a drop. We went for a Kripken. But kind of tell us your journey from when you downloaded the app, you downloaded that Kripken, to where you are now. You're hosting one of the biggest crypto shows, in my opinion. You guys help a lot of people out with you and Dave. You are a Discord mod, and you are also a collectible. How does it feel? And how was that journey for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that I could have looked forward towards the future, or even had my 2-3 year plan and saw any of this happening. Not in a million years would I have dreamed it, because I got the app or whatever, and then Sil was like, well, now you're gonna need to get involved in socials, and I'm like, why? And so, oh, Jeannie's here. And so the first thing I did was I downloaded Discord, which I had never used before. And my first stopping point was the VeVe Army Discord, which is a private Discord run by Brown Mamba. Lots of legends in there. Sil's in there.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, he's great. Such a great guy. Met him multiple times in person. Grubba B, Massive Mr. V, like just there's so many people in there. It's hard to name them all. And I, had everyone's learning each other's VeVeverse or VeVe handles so that they can find each other in the VeVeverse. And I had somebody hit me up, Unibonger hit me up last night, and he's like, hey, what is your VeVe username? Because like I can't find a VeVeMagic. And I'm like, that goes way back. That goes way back. Like, I wasn't VeVeMagic. I was Omi is my homie. And yeah, I am real proud of having that name. Omi is my homie is mine. That's how
You're
really
the foundation of that name. That's crazy.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so that's my username. I've never changed it. And that's who I was on socials. And I had ironically, had a picture of Hawaii as my PFP of the books on Oahu. That was my PFP for the longest time. And people would be like, hey, what's up, bro? How's it going, bro? And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And like, it did not bother me at all. And like, Sil's and he's like, people are calling you bro. I'm like, okay, I don't need to know. And so it wasn't until, I don't know if it was like the announcement of Golden Moments. I'm really bad with dates. I don't remember, but there was just a point in time where he said, you need to be out there. Like I started talking about mint numbers and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, people need to hear this. And so I think COVID had just kicked off. And I didn't have COVID, but I was really sick. And he just like told me, like, let's make this happen. We need to get you in spaces. And I was literally shaking like a leaf, terrified. But that was like what happened. We did this space and everybody's like, wow, who's this person? And then shortly thereafter, he connected me with Chad, NFT Pirates, and they were like, okay, like this needs to, so then Sil goes, we need to rebrand you because like Omi's my homie's not going to work. It's a mouthful. It doesn't like say anything about who you are. You love Disney. So we need to like figure out something that like speaks to who you are. And so we did all this brainstorming actually with Chad as well.
Something marketable.
We were on this like 3-way phone call and some of his names were wild. And I was like, absolutely not. I am not doing that.
Like what?
Just like,
yeah. Well, what could you have been?
Like he says some wild stuff. I don't remember. There were some that I'm like, no, thank you. That were a little like,
got it,
risque. But just like Miss Magic, Mama Magic,
the VeVe Vixen.
yeah, like yeah, some of them were a little like that, and I was like, yeah, nah, that's not my vibe. I'm not here for it. So then we settled on it, and then yeah, my first appearance on YouTube was with Chad on NFT Pirates, and then like right after that, both of them were like, you need to have a YouTube channel, and I was just like, I don't know, like I don't even watch YouTube. Like I don't think people like are gonna care what I have to say, and they just kept pushing me. It actually took me a while to get it started. And that was really scary. You know, it was really
Yeah.
scary to start your own channel and be out there like that. But then it did. And then I started going to these events and meeting these people and just like getting more and more comfortable with everybody and just feeling like it was like a home. And I worked my butt off. Like I have to give myself credit. I really worked my butt off. I think people get a notion in their head of this was handed or this was favorited, and like that is not the case. Like I worked really, really hard to get where I am. I built everything myself, and showed up and opened that door myself. And I'm proud of that. Like
Nice.
that's for me because I'm introverted and I'm respectful and all that, but I found a way and I just made it happen. And yeah, it's just wild. The journey is really wild because I can really like break it down into like almost every single moment. We'd be here all night. And it's still crazy to me to think about the journey and how many steps and setbacks and roadblocks and breaking the barriers, like all the good and the negative, like makes it that much more valuable and makes me cherish it and just really hold it close to my heart all that much more, is because it's not been easy. It's been really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
And so, and I try not to, I share all the intricate parts of my journey. I try to, as much as I can, be positive and uplifting on the timeline, but we're all human. We all have our moments. And but yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a roller coaster, but I wouldn't change it for the world, and I've enjoyed every single minute of it.
My goodness, Dee, there's like similar aspects to our journey in Magics. Go ahead, Dee.
Yes, I was gonna ask you. So, 'cause I don't think you mentioned it yet. So, which one was your like first initial meetup, and like how was that for you going in? For your very first time. Like, what were your feelings like, and like how did you overcome, like, not really like a fear factor, but I don't know what the word is that I want to use, but how did you overcome that to be able to be like, okay, I think I'm going to buy my tickets. I'm going to go to this event and I'm just going to kind of put myself out there. Like, can you tell us the whole, your thoughts on that, on your first event?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I knew about the first decon, and I remember Syl saying like, we should go to this. And I was like, I don't want to. Like I did, like part of me wanted to, but I was like,
Yeah.
so terrified that I was like, I don't people. I really don't people. And then seeing like Max and Janie putting out content and seeing all the pictures, I was like, oh man, I really feel like I missed out on something. And then the next one was the decon kickoff the following summer, and that was the first time that people had the opportunity to meet David and Dan in real life. That was their first event. And again, he's like, we got to go to this. And it's in my backyard. It was an hour and change for me to go there. And I was like, I don't know. And he drove down from Bay Area and I'm more local. And so we were, shooting to meet up at the same time. I get there before him and he's like sending me texts and stuff and calling me and being like, yo, I'm already seeing there's like this long line. Go get in the line, hold me a spot. And I'm like, can I just wait in my car until you get here? And he's like, no, go. We're not even gonna be able to get in. Like, go do it. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I would
feel the same way.
Yeah, like that's kind of how the sandwich story came to fruition as well. Is be like, I need a travel buddy. Like, I need my travel buddy. I need my moving buddy. And at the time that he was that for me. And so I get out of the car and I'm very good at like concealing how I feel, but internally and even physically, if I were to hold my hand out, it would have been like doing that.
Shaking.
And I'm like, my heart is racing, like all the motions as I'm sitting there in line. And I'm looking in front of me, and there's like 2 people ahead of me. I see Max and Janie, and they're live streaming. And I'm like, and then Alex was walking down the line saying hi to people and just kind of seeing what the line looks like and all that. And I just like literally sort of did this. Like, I know it seems really weird, but I don't know how tall I am. And I feel like I can hide.
No.
I don't see you, Magic.
Like, I don't feel like a tall person at all. So I'll just like be like this, just like sort of like looking at my feet or whatever.
If I don't make eye contact, they can't see me.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I'm
seriously, that's how I am. And when he walks by me and he's like, yo, are you just like not gonna say hi to me? And I was like, I didn't know if you know who I am. He's like, I've seen you on YouTube. Of course I know who you are. So he was like the first person I said hi to. And even still, finally still like met up with me right before we're going into the event. And then at the table, it's like Noah and Reese. And Reese, like, I was sort of stunned that he knew who I was. And he was like, VeVeMagic. And he like runs barefoot around the table and like gives me this big hug as if he's like known me his whole life. And he's still one of my favorite people of all time. And I was just like, wow, what is this? But I still really hid behind still like that entire event. Like, I actually didn't connect with Max and Janie that much at that event. It wasn't till just sort of later, like me being in spaces more and like building the relationship with Max, that kind of happened. But I was, you know, somebody asked me for my autograph there, and I was like, why?
We had the
And so-
same experience, Magic, in Vegas. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you want it? It's not worth anything.
Yeah. And still nudges me and he goes, you better get used to this, girl. Like, that was the kind of supporter he was. And I mean, yeah. So that event was like definitely a shift. And then there was just another huge shift in the progression of friendships, my own personal confidence, and with the team as well in London, which was the following event.
Nice. You know what? Was this 2022? This was the 2022 Decon?
The Decon, it was the yes for London,
It was in July,
and then
right?
in the summer of that year was the kickoff, I believe.
Yeah.
So let me. I had the same feelings as you. So let me rewind. And Dean knows this. I'm not a person that really gets nervous when I went there. And I was all cavalier when I got there. And Dee looked at me like, "Oh, we got this." I had my daughter, I had my family with me, right? So I felt comfortable. As soon as I walked in there and I saw the VeVe booth, I saw VeVe Vibes. I stopped, and she's like, "What's going on?" Like, I'm nervous. And I'm like, well, why are you nervous? I'm like, because I've been watching these guys for like, almost half a year, like My Collectibles, VeVe Vibes. I saw Superstar Money. I saw Dino. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't talk to them. And not realizing, because we're content creators now, that you're all regular people, right? We're all regular people. So I couldn't move. It was my daughter that pushed me like, come on, Dad, let's go. I'm like, okay, let's go. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I did the same thing. I put my head down and I started just looking at my phone. And we turned the corner and we run into like we bump right into him by accident. We hit him. And I said, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, Aaron?
And he's like,
Right?
sorry.
And that was sorry. It's him. Oh my God. And that was it. He broke the ice. He gave us a hug. He said, it's nice to meet you. And then we're off to the races. And so I don't know if you watched some of our past live streams. I'm what they call VeVeMagic, and Portuguese, but we say Portuguese in Hawaii. And that means that I can't shut up. Once you start getting me going, I can't shut up. And so I started talking to everybody. I talked to this guy behind me, who had a family. His name was, you remember Anesthesia Penguin? He had like a family over there. But anyways,
It sounds familiar.
I met Anesthesia Penguin, and then in front of us, I met this guy named Franz. And he apparently was doing some work down here in Hawaii. So then we already had like a connection right there. And that was it. We met VeVe Vibes. And we had similar experiences like you, where we connected with people for the first time. VeVe Meister, we hung out with him a lot.
He's the best.
Love VeVe Meister. Ghost 888, and D's short, right? So Vibes and VeVe Meister was like helping her out. Like they would lift her up so she could see what was going on. And it was cool. But that event is what kicked off this podcast. That's what inspired us to do this because we felt so comfortable. We met all of you folks, and some of you folks we didn't even meet. Like the biggest bro, we never met you. Fro, I never met him till like later, and so it was just a beautiful thing, and we wanted to continue the conversation, and that's what kind of started this. So I just feel like there was some similarities in that, and I wanted to kind of tell you that. D, you anything you want to add?
Well, just a little rewind when you were talking to us about how you and Sil were supposed to meet up at the same time, but then he came later, and it just worked out because in a way I feel like that happened for a reason. That's him, like, without maybe realizing it, pushing you to actually do it on your own without him like, come on sis, like, you know, he I don't know how to explain it. It's just when you were saying that part of the story, I was like, oh my gosh, like however it happened, it's like it was meant
I
to
got
be.
goosebumps.
Yeah, so I was like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, that's so like so
it's
still.
like he would it's like at times, not all the time, but there was times when, and he was really, really good at people. I mean, anybody that met him knows, like, he was really good at people, and he knew when to push, when to support, like what he was just very good at knowing what lane he needed to be in. And there was times that I'd be like, I'm too scared to jump off the high dive. Can you walk with me and we'll jump off together? Yeah, I got you. We get to the edge of that board. Boop, bye.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
pushes me off.
Or
Like,
like on three, let's go together. 1, 2, boop. Okay. Oh yeah, 3.
yeah,
He's waving at you from the top.
Yeah.
And I'd be so mad and stuff like that. And then he'd be like, but did you die?
Yeah, it's like, see, you did it, right? And you're like, yeah, I can totally do this. So that's so awesome that, you know, you guys had that connection. It was like an unspoken connection, but it's just, yeah.
He's actually the one that like jump started my journey with the team. He connected me to David Yu and said, you need to email him right now and ask him for an interview about Disney. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Help me with it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I sent the email, and, you know, David writes back, I'd be happy to come on your channel. That sounds great. And this is like ages ago, right? And I met him before the interview happened. I met him at the Decon kickoff party in Glendale. And he didn't know who I was, you know? And so I met him and I said, I don't know if that you know me, but we've been emailing, and you agreed to come on my channel. He's like, oh, nice to meet you. He probably still was like, I don't know who you are. But that was because of Sil. He was like, no, you're going to do this. You're going to email him and you're going to ask. And boy, was I terrified for that. Like, so scared. But yeah, you know, I mean, none of it would be possible without him.
And I've said this story before. I don't know if you've heard it or not, but it was Silicon that helped me with my fear of spaces. He was my very first space, and he had a space labeled The Road to Decon. He wanted to talk to people to see who was going to go. And I that was my day. I was like, okay, there's only 4 people up there. He's asking people to come up. He's literally saying, hey, come up. I see you, the real Hinano. You know, I'm like, yeah. And I hit the button. And the only reason I hit the button is there was a bat cow guy up there that was from Hawaii. So I'm like, okay, I got a brother up there. I can relate. You know what I mean? We couldn't relate, but Silicon made it really easy. And I said, hey, this is my first space. He's like, oh, yeah, no worry. Yeah, it's all good. You know, what's your name? I think I've seen you around the timeline. And we talked, and I felt very comfortable with him, but he was like the first breaking of the ice for me on spaces. And after that, I started going on more spaces. I went on Naz's space, and then Osmond started doing VeVe, and that's kind of when we went off. But I don't think I would have ripped that Band-Aid off if it wasn't for him and him making me feel so welcome in spaces. So yeah, he did that for me. So I wanted to give him a shout out for that. But before we move on, Magic D, anything else that you want to add to this? I know we've been kind of tangenting on the past a little bit. Anything you want to follow up on?
Well, yeah, I want to know this sandwich thing. What's with the sandwich? Because you said that's kind of how it started out for you too. But tell us about the sandwich. I want to know, like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. My memory is like really, really bad. Yes, I did meet them because they turned around at one point while we're in the line, and I can't remember. I feel like I waved to them and did sort of like a And then we saw each other and we hugged and said, nice to meet you. And so that was our first initial meeting. And then Decon London was, in the fall. And after doing that event, I got more engrossed and involved in spaces and all sorts of spaces, right? Like the structured ones. And they weren't as structured back then, but still, like you had your daytime spaces and then you had your DGen spaces, which is how I met Dave many, many moons ago.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And Max would frequent a lot of those spaces. And Janie, she's still getting to the point where she's feeling now more comfortable with spaces. She enjoys in person so much more. And she should be in spaces so much because she's just perfect. But so, I would talk to Max in these spaces, and they were saying that they really wanted to go to London, and I really wanted to go to London, and Sil really wanted to go to London. But I believe the timeline was he had already been diagnosed, and they said, like, it is not recommended that you go. Like, this is not a good idea. And he was really fighting internally with that. Like, he really, really, really wanted to go. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this without you. Like, I don't know if I can go. And he's like, sure you can. Like, you have to, you can't not go because I'm not going. You have to go do this. And so I don't remember, and maybe Max and Jeannie do remember the specifics of how it came to be, where we talked, and maybe it was just us talking to spaces, and Max is like, Magic, if you go, like, Jeannie and I got you. Like, we'll make sure, like, to keep in touch with you, make sure you get from point A to point B. You won't have to walk into anything alone. I mean, still to this day, I'll show up to an event and be like, where are you guys? I don't want to walk in by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I do not like walking into a room alone. Yeah. And so they're just, and I think Janie was like, we'll just sandwich you. You'll be snug right in between us. Like, you can't go anywhere.
Got
And
it.
I was like, sandwich, I like that.
Yeah.
And so that was the whole, like, how it came to be, is that I would be in the middle of their sandwich of, they're like this, beautiful couple, but they were like, no, you were going to be with us. Like, you were going to be part of our crew going to this event. And so, yeah, that's how it came to be. And then it just stuck.
I see 4 sandwiches here,
That's
Magic.
awesome.
No.
No. I'm just playing.
I could
Sorry,
show you the
Moji.
text thread.
I'm
It
just
says
playing.
not
I'm just playing.
sandwich. It says not.
Oh,
That's funny. That's so
That is
awesome. Thank you for sharing the the backstory
Yeah.
on how that came to be. Because when I started frequenting spaces more, I'm like, I keep hearing like sandwich. I'm like, and it's always when like you 3 or 2 out of the 3 were there up talking or talking about each other. I'm like, what the heck is this about sandwiches?
Yeah, if you don't know, it sounds so weird. Like, you're okay. People are crazy.
But that's really cool and also sweet at the same time.
no, that's
Yeah,
cool.
like they
Yeah.
and they have also been like a huge contributing factor in my personal growth, especially with like not having Sil now. Like,
Mhm.
those 2 are my rock. Like, when I say how close we are, like, they are my best friends, and we have very unique friendship in which I have my relationship with her, I have my relationship with him, that are like totally separate, and we talk about separate things, and then we have our relationship together. Like, sometimes I'll just text her, sometimes I just text him, sometimes it's just it's in the group chat, and it's unlike anything that I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it's just so special and so unique and so just like pure love. And they have just been such huge support systems for me. I mean, Max really pushes me on the content. I mean, he has been out there like putting content like every single day. And I'm like, thank you for doing this,
He's
because
good.
it's giving me motivation to like do more and more. And,
Yeah.
Jeannie is like my emotional support animal. Like, I can be like, girl, I'm not having a good day. Like, can you? And she'll be like, don't you dare talk bad about my best friend like that. Like, we're just really, really good support system for each other. And I feel like they just really carried on in a very loving manner what Sil was for me, and just really stepped up to the plate, because I need that. This is like very, very difficult for my personality type to do on my own.
Yeah, and they're your
Yeah,
people.
that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we feel the same way. I mean, we have our people in here as well. When we first started getting into this and kind of like finding our, I don't want to say our sandwich, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Your home base.
yeah, our connection, right? And so
Mhm.
like, and it's funny that you were talking about. Let's go back to your name, Omi Homie, and people not knowing if who was behind the PFP, right? You guys remember the user Tropical Bird? Um,
Yes.
yeah. So she was like one of my very first friends on Twitter. We used to talk a lot about comic books, specifically Secret Rares in the DMs. And I always thought that she was a dude, so I'd call her bro. And so like, and it was like I think a year I called her bro, and then she finally said, "Oh, by the way, I'm a girl." I'm like, "What? I've been calling you bro for a whole year. Like, I'm still your bro." And so she was our first guest on the podcast, and it was
Mm.
titled "The
Mhm.
Bro," the episode,
Oh,
"The
that's
Bro."
great.
And people think that Alex and I were that was like Alex and I have been very friends for a very long time. If anything, he's my longest friend in this whole entire space. But like, well, actually, Tropical Bird is. We don't really see her as much anymore. She's being a nomad and traveling. But um, it was just very special to have her on, and I just remember that feeling where I'm like, I found out that my good friend here is a girl. And she never told me for an entire year until like we were gonna do our interview. So I just thought that was like a similarity in its sense right there. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it was cool. But D, I'm gonna let you move on as I think we've gone through question number 1. Go ahead, D.
Well, I don't know. We can go on about, in real life events, but so going back to, collecting journey, like, were you always a collector? And like, what are something, if you have always been a collector, like, what were some things that you collected? Or did you just start, collecting when you found out about VeVe and got to go in these real life events and, see that there's stuff you can purchase and like artwork um, to buy? So can you kind of give us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I never really considered myself a collector, but then when you like sort of think back on your childhood and the things you liked and you wanted more of, like, and they did tie to my passions where I loved Kenobi. I loved My Little Ponies. And
Oh,
I had a whole bunch of these My Little Ponies, and like I couldn't have enough. And I like wanted to watch the show. And then shortly thereafter I started riding horses, and that's a huge, huge passion in my life.
yeah.
And it wasn't until that I like got the annual pass, and like, because I went, to Disney as a child and everything, but when I like really like fully committed to going more frequently and really fell in love with the place, then I started like seeing items in the store. I'd browse the store, and then I sort of noticed that like I'm tending to buy a lot of ears or buy a lot of ornaments or buy a lot of coffee mugs. And so it really was just passion driven of like something that I liked and then wanting more of it.
Mhm.
And that's true with VeVe as well. As I got into the app and bought a drop here and a drop there. Well, I mean, back then you tried it for every drop.
Yeah.
But then I got into the stacking mode of like, I love this piece is important to me, I need more of this piece. So like that's where I feel like it takes me back to like my roots of like childhood of needing every My Little Pony, and then going to Disney and needing every set of ears and every coffee mug that spoke to me. There's certain pieces on the app that speak to me, and I want a lot of them. I mean, I got to shout out my girl Raven here, because we have a mutual, for no reason at all, obsession with Zombie Captain America. And I have 70 of them. I have 70.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I really, really like that piece. And so
Yeah.
I stacked the crap. I was actually thinking about going in the app and seeing what his floor price was yesterday. I'm like, no, I need to save gems. I need to save gems. But it's just, I find that when there's something I really, really like, I want to collect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never had, before that, I had never really considered myself much of a collector. But when I look back, there's certain moments where I'm like, I was like, I've been a collector in certain realms of my life.
Yeah, I guess you don't really think about that. And especially when you're like a kid, you're just trying to get, if you're able to like just get whatever you can, and hopefully like as you get older, your parents don't throw it away, because then, like, you can keep them, or when if your parents do keep them for you, you can essentially, they can be more value. And I mean, it's always good to like look back and be like, oh yeah, I collected this when I was younger and I still have it. Like, my parents didn't throw it away. And now that I'm an adult and I have my own money, I can keep collecting if I wanted to, or, start another collection, or whatever. Yeah, like for me, there's a few things that when I was younger, I was really lucky to have, was like marbles. When marbles were like really popular, like just to play around with. Like when we went to the
I picked a
store,
marble up off my floor today.
oh really?
Ouch.
Ouch. um,
They're
yeah,
like
like
landmines.
Right?
they're almost as bad as Legos, maybe. But yeah, for me, it was like marbles, like different, the regular size and those big ones with the cat eyes. Yeah, I guess you never really think of yourself as a collector when you're a kid. But yeah, I guess I was a little bit at one time. But for me, like when I got onto the VeVe app, I was kind of in the same boat. Like I tried to go for everything that I could, mainly like comic book wise, and try to go for every drop. But then I was like, okay, this is not really working out. I'm just getting all these darn commons. I'm still getting commons till this day. No secret rares, but it's all in the game. But yeah, I think now VeVe has made me more of a physical collector, because even though we do have a lot more space collecting digitally, I find myself, when we do get the chance to go to the comic book shop as a family, I always want to try and like match what I have to my digital parts. And I'm like, oh man, we sometimes
Becoming a
end up
problem.
leaving with the new box. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, this is like, digital's supposed to help me and it's not helping me. But it's really fun to do this.
Yeah, and
So
that's what I
yeah.
tell my local comic shop when I go in is, sometimes I'll be doing stuff on the app, or I'm taking pictures or whatever. And they actually have worked with me before in content because they figured out that there was a link there. And I said, a lot of you comic book store shops feel like digital is a threat. And like, I'm here to tell you, like, I am here because I collect digital, and I would never in a million years have walked into your store if I didn't start collecting digital. So there's like this thing that you all need to understand, that it is actually really complementary. Nobody's trying to take you guys out of the game. If anything, we want more. Like, how many of us would love to have OG books, like, Silver Age books that we could just go pick up at the store? And you were talking earlier about, if some of these things have been saved during childhood, what they'd be worth now. And yeah, I had the OG Nintendo system. I had Duck Hunt with a gun. I had Metroid, Mario Brother. Like, I had Zelda. I had everything. And garage sale. But like, who
Yeah.
were we back then to know that that would have any sort of value moving forward? Because like, me in my mind as a kid, antiques were like pieces of old furniture.
A
Like,
clock.
yeah, like I just feel like even like toys back then, like old toys, I don't really even feel like, maybe I was just naive. I don't feel like they were really, that big of a thing. And just to relate it where we're here
Here's an old toy.
now is nice, is that that is the way I feel about Syl and his conviction. The way that he has always spoken about VeVe, and the way that he genuinely felt about VeVe, feels very visionary as somebody who would have known back then that the first, gaming system that ever came to be, you need to hang on to that because that's going to be worth money. Like that's the correlation I see, is he believed so deeply about it, about NFTs, about digital collectibles, that I was like, okay, I'll buy something. get off my back. And now here I am.
A Todd. So that's cool. I'm sorry, I left a little bit. I had to call our daughter. She's fine, by the way.
Okay.
I can't really follow up. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what the question that was asked.
Oh, we were talking. No, it's all
We're
good.
sort of
We were
all over the
talking.
place.
Yeah, we were talking about like her collecting as a child and collecting now.
Okay.
But yeah, we can and then I kind of shared like about the marbles. So boring. I had marbles. But speaking of collecting in the app, I noticed that you picked up a certain other collectible recently to add to your. Now you have 4 of them, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, I guess we could celebrate here a little bit, right? I don't
Yeah.
think I've spoken. Yeah, I haven't spoken in Spaces really at all this week. I don't think Monday, the Oasis, but since then I haven't been in Spaces to speak. Yes, I have been. The plan was actually in Orlando when we went to MegaCon.
Mhm.
Max was going to have Janie buy one, and I was going to buy one next to the partner statue, and we were going to film it. But for whatever reason, the floor price rose up like $100 or $200, and it was out of our price range. And so we weren't able to do that. And then this guy, like the following week, sends me like his little buy button that he had like bought it. I was like, what the heck? We were supposed to do this together. And he's like, yeah, but we were supposed to do it together at Disney. I didn't know that I needed to like follow up with you. And I'm like,
I saw a deal.
I didn't know these things. So yeah, they had gotten another one a couple weeks back, and that would have been really fun if we could do it at Orlando. I mean, I'm not going to pay a couple extra $100 because I want content. Like,
Yeah,
I ain't that rich.
you could go eat a steak.
Right? Like, let's go to dinner
Few
instead.
steaks.
And so I've been looking at it every day, multiple times a day, and was waiting for it to get into the price range that I wanted. And I was even eyeing a 3-digit, but then I saw, being real with you, I woke up in the morning the other day and I saw that he had listed at floor, and I was like, that's a homie. I'm buying that one. And yeah, now I have 4. And I'm about 60%, 60 or 70% done with a 4th set.
Wow. I don't even have one yet.
So, yeah, I was like, congrats.
Well, I remember.
Clapping for you.
Thank you. I remember back when they first dropped that Syl immediately completed, I want to say, like 4 sets. And how many waltz did he have? I want to say he had like 6 or 8 of them, but he was buying them in the market like right after the drop, and didn't like, was not like, oh, the market will dip, because if that's not what happened. Like it jumped off. Like I went to bed and woke up. It went from, went to bed at like 1K thinking it was going to dip back down, and woke up to 6, like 3.5 to 6. And it only, like, I couldn't even get, all my funds together quick enough because of how it was just running away.
Sheesh.
But,
yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, like, thank you. I remember being like so envious, like, man, you have 4 sets. That's crazy. Like, I'll never be able to have that. And so yeah, it just feel very fulfilling to have reached that goal, because I really, admired his collection and looked up to, what he was doing, and his belief in all this, and licensed IP, digital collecting. And it feels good to feel like I've gotten, at least in his shadow. I'll never be the collector that he was, but I know he'd be proud. So I'm happy with that.
Well, this is for you.
Be proud.
Thank
you. So there's a question here from somebody. Since we're talking about collectibles, Evolve's asking the Chucky story. He actually asked up above.
Yeah, I've been seeing him troll. That's my neighbor, by the way.
Is he?
Like,
are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. We've never like officially met, and yet we were both at, what was it, San Diego or something? But like, I guess we never crossed paths. He lives in the same neighborhood as my parents. My parents are 20 minutes away. But he had posted an AR photo one time, and I was like, "Do
That looks
you live
familiar.
in such place?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"How would you know that?"
It's like, where are you? Are
I
you
had-
stalking
Like,
me?
I know everything, Evolve. You know?
First, I had posted, I did a video of collectibles at this miniature golf place, and he goes, "Yo, that's my local mini golf spot." And I was like,
Oh, no way.
"Do you live in such area?" And he's like, "I do." And I was like, "Cool, what's up? It's like nice to know somebody in the area." And then he did the AR picture in his neighborhood, and I was like, "Okay, we like are closer than we realize."
Like, you can throw a
So
rock and he'll hit your house. That's how
yeah,
close.
yeah.
Wow.
A shout out
Um,
to Evolve. I love Evolve.
Yeah, so the Chucky thing, we actually talked about this on the Monday night space, talking about our fears. And
Mm.
I'm gonna try. Hopefully I can. We're having a SoCal meetup.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
next weekend. I had a experience watching the film, and I was too young to watch it. I was probably 6 or 7 at the time, and I, like watched kids stuff, and I don't like anything scary, and it terrified me. And in my house, there's this bathroom. It's been remodeled now, but there's this bathroom where the toilet sat directly across from the shower, and there was a shower curtain around the tub. And I just, every time I went to the bathroom, was terrified that he was hiding behind the shower curtain, waiting to attack me. And I had nightmares for ages. It was like probably the first nightmares I ever had that I could remember. And so it came on the app, and I probably was like, "Oh my God, no, thank you." Like, I just, it's not my jam. Like, not telling people not to buy it, but like, this is not my IP. But it wasn't until I'm trying to remember which event came first. Was it Decon or San Diego? But we went to Decon, and after that, we went to, I think that was afterwards. Anyhow, again, timelines are bad for me. We go to Disneyland, and and David Yu is a big Disney head too, like loves Disney IP. And I'm in like tour guide Barbie mindset. And all he cared about the entire time was taking AR pictures with Chucky. And he kept calling him my boy and my son. And I'm like, this is like sacrilege that you're doing this at Disneyland. That you're putting Chucky like next to the castle and next to
With a
Walt
knife.
Disney. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was literally a kid. He had the biggest smile on his face. He'd be laughing and cracking up. We're serving him ice cream in Carthay Circle. And he just thought it was like, he was very serious. Like, he thought it was the best day of his life. And then he, you probably have to scroll way down, but he posted an Instagram video of like the travels with Chucky at Disneyland. I made the video. He asked me to make it for him.
Oh man.
So we've just like constantly just
Look
like
at
ever
the
since God, I was like, why am I doing this? Ever since then, we've just had this like troll thing with each other about Chucky. And that's sort of like, that was like the joke of me showing up. I should have kept it a surprise from him. He was like he and Reese, I think, were the only people that knew that I was coming as Chucky. And I should have kept it a surprise because that would have shocked the hell out of him. But I was like, how crazy would it be, especially around Halloween time, if I did this? And he's like, oh my God, you have to. And so everyone's like, wait, so do you like him or you don't like him? And I was like, no, I can't stand Chucky, but like, if you can't beat him, join him. I don't know.
Yeah. I have to admit, I am not a fan of Chucky either. I know the people are gonna not like me anymore. That's okay. Yeah, I'm same here. I did not like that little doll when I was growing up. I always thought that maybe that thing was underneath my bed. I didn't like the way he laughed. You know what I mean? He had that cringy laugh. And I grew up watching Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th. That never fazed me. But that little doll, no. And so, yeah, I cannot even look at that thing in the app. VeVe, if I ever win something, please don't give me that in the app, please.
They did.
Did they give you the?
Yes.
Oh man,
it was actually one of the first. So, as a moderator, we're not allowed to enter any of the giveaways. Even like gold logo, I can't even enter gold logo stuff. And the only reason I've ever won anything in Discord is for poker. because it's not just luck, like it's a skill-based game. And the way that we've restructured the games, they said, even if a mod wins poker, because that is a skill game, you can get the collectible. So I win my first collectible on Discord and I'm so stoked. And they send me Chucky.
Oh, jeez.
That
I
was
was like-
completely random.
Yeah. I was like, that was so messed up. That was so messed up.
David, you
Oh
push
my
the
God.
button is like the Chucky button.
So technically, I do have one in my collection. I haven't sold it yet. I've tried, but I gotta
You
like lower the
can't
floor.
sell it now. You can't sell it now because there's like the story behind it now. So it has like kind of sentimental values to you.
Not
Maybe
really.
not. No. For that.
I was recently trolled by Sandwich with a Chucky physical collectible, which I was not pleased about. And it took me a very long.
Nice.
I actually never figured it out because they coded the message so that I could figure out that it was them and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm on FaceTime with them one day and one of them wouldn't look at the camera. And as I'm like seriously starting to stress out. Like, I have a stalker. Like, what is going on? Like, it's got to be, I've sent my address to tons of people. Like, I don't know who this is. Like, I'm freaking out. And then one of them, I think it was Max that actually, because Max usually holds a straight face and he couldn't look at the camera. And I was like, it was you guys?
Was
And
he
it
shaking
was.
like this? Maybe.
And so I have recently, sort of, I kind of want this to be like the traveling Chucky. I think that would be kind of a cool thing.
Oh,
So I have
okay.
paid it forward, and that person will soon find out. It should be there early next week, but I have paid Chucky forward with Max and Janie's permission. And I was like, this should become like the VeVe thing. Like, people run giveaways and they oh, she said it was her. And
Culprit.
they should send, what if Chucky made his way around the world? I think that'd be really funny.
No,
I
that's
should have
cool.
signed the box. You know what I should have done is I should have signed the box, and then the next person that gets it signs the box,
Oh,
and so on and so
yeah.
forth. That would have been a really cool idea.
That would have been funny if it came back to you though, Magic. Somehow, like it like
No.
went around the world and somehow it came right back to your doorstep.
No.
With a bunch of names on the box.
Then that for sure would be a
he's
collectible you
laughing.
couldn't get rid of. To get it
I
back.
know.
with all
Actually,
the
if I got
signatures.
signatures all over this box, I would have to keep it.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
That's
That'd
such
be
a good troll.
Magic, how are you doing on time? We're at an hour over. How are you doing on time? We want to be respectful of your
Oh,
time.
wow.
I'm doing fine. Depending on how long we go, I might need a little bio break, but otherwise I'm good.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it not too much. I mean, we can go on forever. That's our problem right here. Portuguese, right? So okay. So before we have to do any breaks here, because I have a commercial that we can do. I kind of want to shift a little bit, and I want to talk about let's fast forward to the future, and let's talk about your new show with Dave. Now, let me frame this question because I've also done stuff with Dave in the past as well. Dave is always Mr. Energetic, and he's very what's the word I'm looking for? He's very enthusiastic. So, and it's always a good time collaborating with Dave. And so we've done that with Storytime with Dave and a few other things in the past as well. But now you're doing YouTube with Dave. Kind of give us an idea what sparked this idea to do this, both of you. You guys did it on the inauguration day, by the way. Really good chess move there, both of you. And
Well played.
kind of give the audience that don't know much about what you're doing with your channel in this specific subject matter to see what's the whole deal about the channel. What are you guys looking to focus on doing with the channel, the purpose?
Yeah, so I would say the thing that's interesting about me and Dave is that even though we're born on the same day, literally.
What?
Wait, what? You guys are
We're born
birthday
on
twins?
Yeah, we're born the same day.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're very, very, very different people. In kind of almost every single way.
It probably
But
works. That's probably what makes it
somehow
work.
it works. Somehow it works. And I don't get to go to like all of, I mean, the man is running spaces 24/7. So I don't get to go to all of his spaces and see all the things that he's doing. But I find him incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
And there are parts of him that are not me that I really admire, that he's just such a go-getter and is like, I will find the money. Where I'm more of the person that is like, if the right opportunity happens, great. Like I'm not a go-getter in the same way that he is. There are certain things that I will chase, but he's just really, really good at that and really good about making it happen. And we started, he was in Vegas and he came over to the house a couple of times and we were talking, he was of course like, doing spaces from the house and
I was
everybody
in
at the
there
table.
with him. So-
Everybody at the table there is talking about, crypto. He's talking about, all these different, Peanut and Junie and all these different things that he's doing. Right. And I'm kind of like, what is happening?
What's these names?
And so like we're sitting, catching up, outside by the pool. And I was like, I want to know more about this stuff. And he's like, well, why don't you ask? And I'm like, well, why don't you tell me? And then I said, well, I really am interested in wanting to know more about this stuff. But I need like really hands-on help. Like you can't, I go into your spaces and I was honest with him. I said, I go into your spaces and I understand. It's like, I equate it to how I know Spanish. I can listen to a conversation in Spanish and know the crux of the conversation and the issue at hand or what's being spoken about, the topic, right? But can I give you every single word? Absolutely not. That is how I feel with crypto. Is it like I get it in totality, but I'm like missing so many pieces. And so I was like, okay, like don't be a stranger, but at the same time I didn't want to bug him. This is again me not being like the person he is. And so then he came out to California a couple of weeks after Vegas. And I said, hey, like, let's have dinner or something. And maybe you can help me actually buy this stuff. And because I would like to do it in person. And so we're doing this in person and going through the steps and everything. He's like, do you have this wallet? I was like, no. Do you have this? Do you have this? Yeah. No. And he's just like,
oh.
I can just see him like, what do you have then?
He's like, he literally said, how are you this smart, but this dumb?
What?
Yes.
Dave.
That sounds like Dave.
I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing. I said, this is why I need you. This is why I'm afraid to make any moves. This is why I'm not a millionaire right now, like on a private island, is because I'm too afraid to make any moves and then I'll mess everything up. Like I need somebody to walk me through this. And he's like, you know what? Like you are not the only person out there like this. And like, this is like, we should be like doing this live. And I was like, maybe we should. And he's like, no, I'm actually serious. And I was like, I'm totally on page with you.
We
and
have
I was
the
like,
means.
Yeah, but I was like, I've got the channel. We can start going. And I said, because I said, what you do in spaces is great, but I'm not seeing anything in front of me. And I'm not relating. And it's also very, very high level. Like I need you to kick it down like 10 notches. Like I'm going to ask stupid questions. He's like, that's okay, because you're not the only person like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it came to be.
I love that. I love collaborating with Dave. And he moves at like 1,000 miles an hour. So if you don't keep up, you're pretty much lost in the dust. But he has been a lot of help for our channel as well. I don't know how he did it, Magic. Him and Big Bro somehow got us monetized by getting us the subscribers to do that here. It was all of them, those two.
Oh,
but
that's great.
Dave really took it over the edge. When he came on, he said, yo, by the way, if you got a bunch of subscribers, you're welcome. You know how he talks, right? So,
that's you nailed it.
Yeah. And so when we were off the live, I'm like, what is going on here, D? Our subscriber count keeps moving up. And then like within like a 4-hour time span, we had 200 new subscribers like that. And so this is like right before we came back from Maui. We went to Maui this past summer. We got to meet Chris Severs and his family. Lovely family. Love Chris Severs. Like that man is just a humble man. And I really appreciate him. But when we came back, we kind of had to like figure out what we needed to do here. And so he's been a lot of help in terms of trying to get us to like understand more on the crypto side. I kind of lost my train of thought here. Where was I going with this? But anyways, needless to say, Dave's a really interesting dude to collaborate with. He's helped us. Oh yeah, our channel. So we came back from our channel, and Big Bro, he went live and he started doing these fundraiser things like, guys, we're going to play a game. and you guys can win a prize. And the only thing I want you to do is subscribe to the Real Uncommon podcast. And so I think Big Bro got us to like a certain amount of subscribers, because we had like 300 something subscribers in the summer, and he got us to like 400 something. And then Dave came on. He's like, what is this? And I don't know what he did. And we ended up getting like 600 something subscribers after he was here. So, you know, shout out to Dave. I've always enjoyed collaborating with him. You know, we've been on Storytime a few times. I love all things crypto with him. Nat, shout out to Nat. I hope she's doing well. And then also Cool Crypto and everyone else in that Crypto Cabal chat that we're in. D, anything you want to add to this?
That guy has like so many like different group chats, and it's just fun to like mess with him because I know
So
he takes it and he gives it back too, and it's like it's so fun to troll him. But anyways, yeah, I'm really liking your guys' channel. It's 7 o'clock for us, but we always look forward to Mondays for the magical. I always mess it up. Magical crypto
magic hour.
Crypto magic hour. I'm like, it's a magical hour. Yeah, it's very informative. And I know a lot of the people that tune in, because I can, you know, when I'm reading the chats, they're like, oh yeah, there's like, I never knew this information. And, you know, sometimes people are afraid to ask because they think they're the only ones with that dumb question. Until someone else asks it and they're like, oh, okay, I guess I wasn't the only one that didn't know what this acronym stood for. You know, I thought it meant this, and it's like a totally different area, like not even crypto related. So just you guys being able to provide that, you know, type of platform to have you asking questions that us normal people would be asking, and then to have Dave, you know, guide us and giving us the information that he has. It's like, it's really helpful. So it's good to have that, because you not keep him in line, but you kind of like direct him on how to steer the ship, because he can, if you ask him a question, he can just go off and like just explain it, but not to the level where we understand what he's talking about. So you're like, can you please like?
I do redirect sometimes because I'm like, you took it too high level. I need you to talk
back
like
bring it back down. Yeah. So it's I just gotta say big props to you guys for creating that and providing, you know, that service for a lot of people, myself included. Yes. So keep on doing that, and it was also really good to see the bunny up there too.
Bildo!
As your first guest. Yeah, so that's pretty
and
awesome.
he was, gosh, he's so intelligent and well spoken, and just
and very charismatic.
He was a great. I was very delighted that he hopped on. No pun intended.
It just worked that way. The bunny can take it. The bunny
he understands. Yeah.
But that was great. And just a special shout out to you guys. Like, I am a total like noob and dodo bird when it comes to graphics and intros and outros and all this kind of stuff. So thank you so much for like the amazing intro you made for us, because
I made an outro. I made you guys an outro because I felt like you guys needed it, right? Because you played the intro after for the outro. I'm like, they need an outro. So Dave hit me up. He's like, yo, can you make us a song and an intro? And I'm like, 100%, man. Like, you've helped me before in the past. Like, whenever he comes and like sends me a DM, hey man, can you help me with this? The automatic yes, sure. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's always helped me with everything and anything in the past. He's helped us network with other people. If it wasn't for Dave, we would have never broken out of the collectible bubble and actually started talking to a lot of the crypto people. Like, we've had different people on our channel, and that's kind of what we want to do. We want to like really get to know the landscape. And I love the fact that you guys are doing that, because you're bringing regular people that don't know anything about crypto into the crypto world, and you're at least getting rid of that unknown in between how you make transactions, how you create a wallet, you know, how do you look at a chart, what is a chart? You know what I mean? I
Right.
love that. It's great TV. And I really hope people start tuning in more because they need it, especially now in the landscape. Now, Inauguration Day. You guys went on Inauguration Day. Smartest move I've ever seen. And you guys are literally it's a new landscape. You already know what's happening here in this landscape. And a lot of the everyday folks need to learn this stuff. And you guys are going to provide that for them. So that's really awesome. Really awesome.
Thank you.
Dee, anything else you want to add to this before we move on?
Sorry, not right now. I'm dealing with the little dude
gotcha.
at the moment.
No worries.
Sorry.
I tend to talk too much magic, so I always make sure that I bring it back to Dee, but she does have a follow-up question here. It says right here, besides crypto and also Disney focused topics, and that's something we didn't really discuss with your channel, but like everyone kind of knows you from the Disney side of it, what else type of content are you looking to maybe create in your channel going forward now that you're kind of delving between Disney, collecting, and crypto?
Yeah, so when I first started out, it was basically like a VeVe Disney only channel.
Yeah.
And you know, when I started the channel is when things were, you know, still like I was technically late to like the OGs in terms of YouTube content, but it's still picked up pretty well, especially like having the interview back then with David when he had not I had not done hardly any interviews. But you know, that made my channel keep going. And so the first several videos went well, but I never saw myself as like a weekly streamer or a drop show person, or because I feel like those are sort of solitary things unless you have a partner that you're doing something with, you know, whether it be a romantic partner or just business partner. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't see myself sitting in front of a screen talking to nobody. That didn't make sense to me. And so that's why, you know, people are like, what happened to Magic? She fell off the face of the earth. And it's like, no, when I make content, like I really mean it. Like I really want to do something that I feel good about, that inspired me, that maybe want to put it out there. Like I'm not just doing content for the sake of content. Because that gets old. How are you gonna sustain that? At some point, you're just gonna run into the ground. And and so, you know, then I hit sort of like, you know, I was going on a lot of different channels as well. I'm always happy to like go on people's channels, but I wasn't finding really specifically where I wanted to go with VeVe content. I never really felt like I found a very specific niche. So I do, you know, I still do stuff. I actually have a very exciting live stream on Wednesday. Very, very happy about that. But I then was like, well, and with a lot of talk with, you know, friends and family and whatnot, like Disney's like the bread. Like, why don't you focus on more Disney content? And so I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I know what I'm doing, this, that, and the other. But I end up going on this cruise to Alaska. And this was a labor of love. And I've now done this 2 or 3 other times. But I spent countless hours filming, taking pictures, all that stuff, bringing it home, compiling it into a story, then, you know, adding, you know, the audio to it. And I'm having to clip, like it's personal audio clips all throughout this, you know, 30+ minute long video. It took hours for me to make this video.
I believe you.
That video is at like 40,000 views. That's my best performing video I've ever made.
Oh, look at that.
You see me like,
woo! Producer approved.
The only problem was that video wasn't monetized because there was a portion and I knew it wasn't going to be, but it was important. And this is where my passion comes through, is that there's a portion of the cruise where there's this night, and this is my favorite restaurant, Animator's Palette, and the room comes to life, and there's music from all the movies, and it's the whole room just becomes a show. And I was like, there's no way I can show this and just like talk to it. Like they have to experience it. But then having the music, it copyrighted it. And I was like, I don't care. It's more important that they understand what this experience is like, because then they'll want to do it. So I knew that going in, but I also was like, dang, I didn't know I was going to get 40,000 views. That's crazy.
That's
so
amazing.
I've done it now. Yes, I've done it now with the Disneyland Hotel, and I've done it with Aulani, and those have done pretty well too. And that's kind of and I'm starting to test my shorts and TikTok to see how those are going. I did a TikTok about a week ago that has 10,000 views. So I'm and that was all natural. There's one that I tried to promote, like, let's see if this does anything. I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And this video has doubled it, and I didn't do anything to promote it. So I'm like, okay, I just have to figure out. I'm still trying to like master the algorithm.
Yeah.
But I find it really intriguing, and it's something that I really care about. So I'm, I'm still going to do VeVe stuff for sure, but I'm also going to go where the money goes. So if I'm going to be making money on Disney content,
Of course.
pay your girl.
It's the
So, yeah.
sustainability of your channel.
Yeah, exactly. I want my channel to attract people and be relevant, be something that people want to see. So
Yeah, and it's and that's so awesome that you're doing that, because it's not like a topic where you have to go and research about it or
Right.
pretend like you know all about it. It's like Disney stuff. And
surprisingly,
so
I
that's-
do a lot of research though.
I mean,
like,
I'm
when I
not
went
saying
to
you don't do,
Alani,
but you don't like
I know.
pretend to know. Yeah.
Yeah, like the planning that goes into like going to certain restaurants and knowing when things are going to happen. Like Alani, if you guys have been there, right?
Yeah,
Or
a
no?
few times. Yeah.
And I watched your
Yeah,
video
yeah. Oh,
on
yeah,
that
of course.
because
Yeah.
I'm really biased. I was like, she did Aulani. I'm gonna watch this because I was there.
Yeah. And we had our memories and we got in our feels like, oh, let's go back.
No,
Yeah.
when I
So
made the video,
fun.
I'm like, I already want to go back. But like, there's so much going on at that resort at all times.
Yeah.
Like, it takes so much prep to be like, what am I gonna do? What am I not gonna do? What do I have time to do? What do I have money to do? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And the thing about that resort is, like, depending where you go in the times, the pool could be packed. The beach
Right.
could be packed. They're like doing their dancing right on the pool, right?
Yep.
And so, or what is it? Is it Tutu's Corner where you could leave your kid there and you could go do your own thing? I never did that though, by the way. But you could like
and aunties.
Auntie something.
Auntie something.
Back or auntie something.
Yeah.
Auntie's
But-
the kind.
Auntie's
Yeah.
the kind. You know what's so strange? When we went to Aulani, I didn't know who the bear was. There was this bear that walked up to us. And,
Duffy.
yes, the bear. And I'm like, who is this? Who's this bear? And I didn't realize that was the Japanese. The Japanese loved him so much. And I've never heard of that bear. What was the name of the bear, Magic?
Duffy. Duffy.
Yeah.
We
I was looking at
couldn't
that.
ask that out loud because we would have been like shunned, like, oh my gosh, you don't. We're like, who's the bear? Who is that?
Yeah, my daughter said, I've never seen that bear, Dad. I'm like, me neither. It was cool though. So we waited in line for Moana, and my daughter at the time, I believe she was like 7 or 6. She was pretty young, but like you're waiting in that line and you see the kids, they're like, oh my God, Dad, I get to be Moana. And so we had such a good time. My friend, he's an executive chef there, so he kind of gave us the tips and tricks on how to get free stuff. So he's like, okay, when you
Nice.
get there, it's your anniversary. They don't check. Tell them it's your anniversary. It was our anniversary. So we had like this thing that came to our room with chocolates. And then they said, tell them it's your kid's birthday. They don't check. What do you mean they don't check? What kind of place don't check? They don't check. Trust me. So I said, oh, it's my kid's birthday. They gave her free stuff at the store. She was getting like free ice cream at the cafe. So we made out. We got like the free pins and everything like that.
Yep.
We went and sat in that they had that silly timeshare thing, right? But if you sat in the timeshare thing, then you get credits. So you can go buy stuff at the store. So I sat in there for half an hour for my kids so she could get some Disney stuff. I had a great time at Aulani. I wish we could do like a meetup over there. I would love it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Say less. I'd be there.
I speaking on that though, on your video, I did really enjoy that. Like, even though you got to experience it, you went back on your experience and you did your voiceover, and I like how you kind of set it was like a slow vibe of the tips, the tricks, and like when to make reservations, how far in advance you need to do that for the people that may one day want to visit Aulani. So I really enjoyed that. And then just watching that video, I was like, oh man, yeah, I was there. This is where we went to. So it was one of the videos that I could like personally relate to because I had been there. So I'm like, oh yeah. So maybe the next time that we do go as a family, I'll be a little bit more prepared on like checking out other things because we didn't get to do like everything there that you had mentioned in your video.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
lot.
so yeah, maybe for the next time I'll be like, I'm gonna go rewatch Magic's video and I'm gonna go and make all these reservations, just to check it out and be there to just experience it all, or at least the things that we didn't get to the first time. So
So I got a funny story. I'm going to tell Magic the story of what happened to me that night. I went to go hang out with the executive chef. So
oh my gosh.
so my friend was the executive chef, so he hooked us up with like the room. Like he gave us a deal. We had like a huge suite, and then so part of like the deal too is like when I'm gluten intolerant. So when I went to the
Mm.
cafe, he must have told the staff because as soon as I sat down, chef told me that you're gluten intolerant. So he said get whatever you need. Really? Yeah. Oh, he also said it was your birthday. Yes, it is my birthday. So I was like, oh, what kind of cake you want? I'm like, oh, what do you got? I'm like, oh, well, we can make you a chocolate cake. I'm like, okay. They literally went and made me a cake. Like, but they
Wow.
had to wait. Like, I had to wait like a good like 45 minutes for them to make the cake. It's like, well, it's gonna take a while to make the cake. Like, oh, we'll be
Yeah.
here, And they made
Yeah.
me a cake, and I remember it had like Mickey's ears, and it was all
Aw.
chocolate, and like Mickey's smile. I'm like, wow, they made me a cake. So let's fast forward. After the dinner and everything, I had to do one thing with my friend. I had to go to the bar across the street and have a couple drinks with him. I stopped drinking. I was trying to get healthy and get better. I was going through some health issues and I've overcame that. But I told her, oh my gosh, I haven't drank in like a year. And I'm going to go across the street and I'm just going to have one. Now, this is like my best friend, by the way, from like high school. I used to pass out in the back of his car, in high school. Never mind. Let's forward. But anyway, so I went across the street. And sure enough, once you start getting your feels, your friends are there. He's like, "I'm gonna call up the old crew," and everyone starts coming. Oh my
Oh
gosh,
no.
I got floored. And so,
Oh
but the
no.
the problem was he had to go dig out because one of his friends like was throwing up, so he had to go take him home. So I had to walk back to the hotel. I'm like stumbling back to the hotel,
Oh
and
Lord.
I get to the lobby and I sit down and I'm just like, and guess who's behind me? Mickey Mouse. Uh, sir, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm trying to get to my room. I'm like, well, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm in this tower. I'm like, "Here, I'll help you." And so Mickey Mouse is helping me to the elevator.
Stop it.
And I'm like holding Mickey Mouse and I'm going to the elevator. I'm like, "Hey,
Oh my gosh.
thanks, Mickey." And I get the elevator and I get to the room and I'm like, and she knows when I have the slow knock. Uh-oh. And she gets there. And so Dee's helping me to the bed and I pass out and I wake up. And Dee's like, "So I heard Mickey Mouse helped you. What do you mean?" And I'm playing like nothing happened, right? Because she wasn't down there. Oh, yeah. The chef called. They said the staff said that, they helped you get to the elevator and everything. So everybody knew from my friend's staff that Mickey Mouse helped me to the elevator. And I'll never forget that. And so
How could
anyways,
you?
that
How
was my
could you?
story of Aulani. That one time, I had to do that one time. If you're watching Mr. Chef, because I know he watches our channel, I did that for you. Anyways, that was my story of Aulani.
I
So,
love it.
and there's way more stories to tell later on in my life, but for another time. D, you want to add anything else to this before we move on? And I think we're getting close to the tail end of the stream anyway. So,
Yeah,
D,
did you need a break earlier, you said? Or
yeah,
Magic?
I don't want to like. Is it okay if I step away for like
of
two
course.
minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna hold
Do
you.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry
yeah.
about it.
Sure, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, do your thing. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out right now. I want to give a big shout out to Kobe for gifting people 5 memberships. I'm going to read off the memberships right now from Kobe. We have Majin with a free gifted membership. We have California Comics. What's up, bro? Free. He's a gifted membership. Alley Boy. We've got Ronnie Lido and Incorrigible Goat Slayer. And then we have Vegan Things also gift 6 memberships. We have G Money, J Temp. I see you, Pax, Slammy, and Ronnie again. And then lastly, Pasternak. Guys, reach out to D. You're going to get a free NFT. That NFT will allow you to enter our giveaways. I'm actually running a giveaway from last month. I'm a little bit slow. The Discord knows. But we're going to run a giveaway. We're giving away some comic slabs. So you want to make sure you hit D up So you can enter this month. You'll have that one-time entry to get this NFT. Anyone who joins our channel for the first time, they get a free NFT. It's a uncommon badge and allows you to enter our giveaway while you have a membership. So throughout this month, you have the opportunity. Hit up D after the stream. And what is up, Casual? Thank you for the 99-cent super chat right there. Shout out to you, man. And check out Casuals with his karaoke's every Saturday. D, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, and also shout out to Frobro as well for the donation earlier. And yeah, appreciate everyone that's here watching and listening. It's good. It's been a great conversation. And dude,
did our son just break wind?
I was like, I'm gonna try and play it off. Like
everybody heard it.
Ooh, slabs? Who said slabs? Oh, for the giveaway.
Nobody heard my son, by the way. Nobody heard him.
I heard it. I had my AirPod in still.
Anyways.
Man.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, you feel good now? Hey, yeah.
All right.
He's all happy now.
He's happy. Okay, so Magic, I kind of, before we let you go, there's one more question I want to ask you. I want to ask you about becoming Epic Code. I think this is an awesome thing. Now, we had David, Dan, and Eagle on the first round being Epic Code. I thought that was really cool that they're having their own people. I wanted to think of it as almost their own IP, but then they went to the community members. You had My Collectibles, you had Corey, and then we had you. And I got to say, yours is the most powerful one. I'm going to say it right now, okay? Nobody else can bend time, so keep it like that. But how does it feel? I mean, this goes back to when you first started your journey, all that hard work that you put in, and now you're being Epic Code, you're getting the recognition by being an immortalized collectible. How does it feel?
Surreal. An honor. Again, it's like one of those moments where you like really reflect on your time and take a moment to appreciate the journey and also the effort and everything that you and everyone around you have put into you to get to this point. Because this is a VeVe fam thing. This wasn't, me and myself. Like I did work my tush off, but it wasn't just me. I have a lot of people that support me and help me and have added so much to this entire journey. But I guess I would say like it's also another reason why I talk about the events a lot, because if I had never been to any of these events, like this never would have happened. Like I met these guys, back London Decon was the first time I met them. And I've seen them at almost every event since then. And so like, built a little bit of a rapport and relationship with them. And when they approached me, I was like, this is kind of like a joke. Yeah. Like this is like, I wasn't like even sure that was serious, and maybe it was disbelief, and maybe it was a little bit of a joke. Maybe they're just like throwing around ideas, like we're thinking this, but we don't know if it's going to happen. And then like the progression went on and on and on, and then like the conversation continued, and it was incredible. And that's another moment where I'm it just makes me really remember and be grateful for Syl, because again, none of this would be possible in days like that I wish that he had been here, because that would have been something really awesome to really experience in person with him. But I definitely always feel his energy and everything. But it was really awesome, and it was funny to hear a little bit from David and Dan. And David's like, "Why are everybody's powers better than mine?" And I gave him crap, and I was like, "I just can't wait to kick your ass." And then Dan, I very rarely converse with Dan because he's just like head down. Like I love the narrative that he's gone and everything. It's like he's just really, really busy, guys. I don't think you really understand. Yeah. But right. On the VeVeverse day, I sent him a text and I said, congrats, big day. And he said, something, thank you, like been just really working my tail off on this. And then he said, congratulations on him being immortalized as a collectible. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, that's nice. But yeah, it's still kind of I still haven't like fully wrapped my brain around it, but it's really, really cool. And I'm just very, very grateful to just everybody that's been a part of my journey here in this community, because it takes a village.
It does take a village. And what I want to kind of say is, how's it feel, super mom? Because I know you have kids, and I know my daughter would be so ecstatic if I was like anything in a game. How does that feel for you? Like, you're literally a game now. Your kids can play you and kick everyone's butt with mom.
I think that's my favorite part, to be honest. My daughter's actually here in the room. I told you guys I've got my house cleaners here today. So we're hiding out here and locked into the room, and she's on her tablet over there. And my son, right before I came into the room, hey, no laser pointer.
We can relate. We can relate.
And right before I came in the room, my son was he was in our living room playing VR. And when I told him that it was happening, I said, he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Do you know that like it's going to be in a game that like you can play?" And he's like, then he like perked up. And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he already has it downloaded on his tablet.
What's your powers, mom?
Stop. Sorry, I'm a strict mom.
It's okay. That's okay. He can be strict too. You have to be sometimes. You have to be.
I'm like looking at the comments. Sorry. I'm strict, but I'm fair. I'm a very proud mom. I'm a very good mom. It was a laser pointer. Yeah, she's crazy, that one. But yeah, it's like that is a really cool feeling. And I think it's gonna be, I can't wait to watch him actually play it. Like once I'm incorporated in the game and him play, like that's gonna be super fulfilling and just a very prideful moment for me. That's probably my biggest joy of it all, honestly. That and then that still would be proud of me are my biggest takeaways.
I love that. Dee, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I don't know if you touched on it, but if you're able to share with us, like what was the whole process in doing that, or is that I know certain things like you may not be able to talk about in the whole creation, but like how long did that take to like to come to fruition, like you becoming a collectible?
About 5-ish months.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, from like the general like first introduction of the idea to when it was publicly available, about that amount of time. What was great is that they wanted to know my ideas. They had their own ideas of what they thought maybe she would look like or her outfit. And then they would send, and then I would actually included people that were around at the time, David and Dan, and the conversation about like, because I'm not a great ideator. Like, I don't feel like I come up with a lot of great ideas off the bat. And so I was asking about, they said like, what would you like your powers to be? And so I was like coming up with all these ideas. And so I was
Omega level.
I was bouncing it off of like, them. And I think I did say I wanted something sort of like a Scarlet Witch-esque or Doctor Strange. I did bring up the concept of the time, being able to like, go back and before I was even attacked and like cut them, before they could get to me. And but overall, like they obviously did all the heavy lifting and legwork, and like they showed it to me, and I'm like, it's amazing. Like there was some color changes that I did, and then I said, if possible, could you add in some Easter eggs for me? And they're like, oh, amazing. Like, what are you thinking? And I was like, well, I have a couple ideas. And I said, the main one for me is, I said my tattoos, which shout out Kid Arcade. Kid Arcade did my first, actually all 4 tattoos I have. But he did my first 2 tattoos, and one is 888 and one is a Mickey Mouse. And I said that I would like them. My lady was just asking about singing yesterday, actually. She's like, is there a singing space? And the 888 was huge for me. And I said the Mickey, I said, my daughter and I sometimes go to the parks and we put a little Mickey stamp on our face. And so I was like, I don't know if you can get away with that, because it's like, IP, but they made it so that it doesn't look exactly like a perfect Mickey, so it works
It's
out.
a, it's a knockoff mouse.
Yeah, the knockoff mouse. I'm fine with the knockoff mouse. It's totally good. And it's like,
the
if you know,
Temu
you know.
version.
Yeah, it's a bootleg.
And
As Arcade
then
would say, bootleg.
yeah, bootleg. Yeah, I'm totally fine with it. And then the 888, I had given them an idea of like just putting it like somewhere on the boot, because
Mhm.
mine's on my ankle. And so there was like, these were the instances where they showed me the model, and when they showed it on the back, I was like, I could not have done that any better. Like, that's genius, because it looks like the suit. Like, people didn't know for a long time until I started talking about it, because it just looked like it was part of the outfit. Like, it just was the design, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's 888. So that is like my favorite part. But yeah, I'd like ask like, oh, could we just change the color of this a little bit, and could we change the color of the hair a little bit? So it was really nice, because they were just like so easy to work with, but at the same time they have such a strong team that was just they presented it with me, and I'm like, wow, amazing.
I think it's
Yeah.
rad. I mean, like, I'm sorry, D.
No, good.
I just think it's really cool, because who can you say, or I can't say this, but I'm in a video game, right? You know what I mean? Who can say that, right? I'm in a video game. So I think that's really awesome. Go ahead, D.
No, I love how you were able to put in like your little magical touches to your collectible. And I mean, from a company, a business, to come out, reach out to you and ask for your input. I mean, it is you, like a representation of you, but for them to just work with you for so long to create a product for you, it's like, that's amazing. Like, you can't just like do that with like certain companies, right?
Right.
A lot of things you probably have to go through in order to get anything in your likeness. But so that's really cool that you're able to add your little touches to it, and with the 888, being behind, so that's like Sill's always got your back. And what I really like too is I think when Hinano and I were looking at the blog article, and we saw the the horseshoe right here on your shoulder, I was like, oh, that's really cool, because
I don't think I've even noticed that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
really?
looks like horseshoes right here on your
Yeah, it was like
shoulder.
horseshoe on your pad
That's
over here.
cool. I haven't it feels like kind of weird to like study
Like, look at
her.
yourself.
Like,
Yeah.
Did they add that on? We thought you added that on. Like, oh, look at the horseshoes.
No,
Yeah,
no.
we thought that
I mean,
was
they
one
do
of
have it in
like your
horses,
Easter
so
eggs.
they may have done it
Yeah.
intentionally, and I just don't know. The one other thing that I did it intentionally is originally in the costume, the green parts were a different color, and I said, can we switch that to maybe a green? And I said, one, it would go cool with the fact that I have green eyes, but also green was Sill's favorite color, so that is also another nod to him. And it just looks so good with the green. I love the green.
Very cool. Yeah. It's like Tron-like, right?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool though, to have your own collectible. That's
It really is.
Yeah,
hands down.
I mean, as long as the lights stay on, you're immortalized. It's a beautiful thing. That's so cool. You'll live on forever, and that's cool.
Otherwise, if it doesn't, I have the screenshot still.
Right? I was gonna say.
Screenshot my collectible.
Oh, D, anything else you want to ask Magic before we get to the final question?
Shoot. There was something like regarding, but we kind of like talked about it, but I feel like I want to just kind of touch on it again, is like in real life meetups. I know you've been to like so many, and I don't know if like all of them, or possibly
Not
almost
quite
all
all.
of them. Okay.
Almost.
But I know that you help at the booths, and you're like working, even though it's also fun for you. So my question is like, what is it about going to these events that make it like really fulfilling for you?
Man, it's a lot of different things. It's I spend a lot of my day, whether I'm in spaces or in DMs or commenting or retweeting or whatever the case may be, or in Discord, I spend a huge amount of my day every day in this community, connecting with people. And the events are the only time I ever get to see them. Like, I don't get to see these people, but yeah, she's losing her mind. I'm like, oh my God. I don't get to see these people, but once or twice a year, especially from all over the world. Like, yeah, like when I say that I want to go to all the events, like I mean that. And it's like, one, it's amazing the opportunity to be able to travel the world. Like I've only been, to Europe twice, and that was because of VeVe events. And I don't really like get to do a lot of tourism. Like I'm literally like at the event. And I will add a day or two on for Disneyland Paris if I can, but I'm not,
Yeah.
it's not like I didn't get to go tour around London or
Not a whole
France
week of
really
touring,
from it.
right?
No, like it's a quick trip. But it's hard on my heart that like, yeah, I have the ability to go to these US events, but it's harder to go to European events because you're, flying, 9 hours to go somewhere. But I also feel for those people because there are some of them that come all the way from Germany, London, France to New York. And it's like I want it to be like a two-way friendship. Like if I have the opportunity to go see them, I want to see them. But I've put a lot into my traveling, and like there's only so much that everyone could do. And
Yeah.
I
And it
I
also
just
costs money.
yeah, like thousands of dollars that I've spent on these trips. Like, yeah, I could have had a whole army of walls to put it that way.
But the
and
networking part
The
really helped, right?
sacrifice. Yeah.
yeah, and what was amazing is like people in this community, it's just crazy. There was I think it was it was the first New York Comic Con where I just really wanted to go, but we didn't know soon enough what the schedule was going to be. And by that time, it is just too expensive for me. And I, said something about like, you guys know I love events. I'm heartbroken I can't be there. And Brock from Fishes reached out to me and he helped me get to that event
Awesome.
and was like, you need to be there. Like you are synonymous with events. Like you
Yeah.
should be there. And then for France was a very similar situation where I was just dying to go. And the German community banded together and they helped me get there. And
Wow.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. I love that so much. It's so incredible. I'm so grateful. At the same time, it feels so wrong to me. Like and I don't want to be like, rude or anything, but like,
No.
I
We
don't
know what
want
you
to.
mean. We know what you mean.
Yeah.
I got
So
you.
it's this weird tug of war. So we'll see how this year goes. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I would love to do everything, but we'll just see how that works out. But yeah, the events, it's the only unique place to where you get to all be together over a shared common thing. I mean, you were talking earlier, Hanano, about like your family and friends really know about VeVe, but like you don't really talk about it. Like they know it's a big part of your life, but they're not in it like that.
Some of them think I'm crazy.
Yeah, I got that. My parents are like, "You're still doing this?" Like that's been fun. That's a whole other topic. But but yeah, this is the only time and place where I can be with my people that
That's it.
understand me, that get
Yeah.
me, that I can. And it's ironic too, because when we get together, we don't really even talk about VeVe like that much. Like
You
it's
shoot
just
the
about
shit,
like,
right?
yeah. But it's like you already know these people, like you are my people, and I finally get to be with you. And so yeah, it's just it's hard to put like a full definition of what it means to me and why I love it so much because it's so multi-tiered. But I just, man, I think events are the best. It's just my favorite part of all of this, to be honest. And it's exhausting. It's a lot of work. It's very, very little sleep. And I'm not a morning person and I need sleep, but I kick into like literally my collectible. I turn into a superhero and I don't know where it comes from, but I just go and I am on. But then by like the last day, I'm like, okay, my
You're
powers are
ready to
draining.
crash.
and I'm not a plane sleeper, but like on the way home from MegaCon, I slept almost the entire flight. I knocked out before we even hit the air. Like I was exhausted. But that's how you know that you literally put every ounce of your energy, physical, mental, emotional, everything into something. And then your body's like, we're done. Okay, we're gonna check out for a while.
Yeah. It's time to turn the lights off.
Yeah.
Well, it was really cool meeting you in Vegas, and we're gonna actually go back to Vegas this year. Out of all the events, that's one that we solidified that we'll be back. I will try to make it to New York. Things in real life kind of changed for us from the last time we were trying to plan. Originally, we were all going to go to New York, but that won't happen. But we're definitely going to go back to Vegas. So I hope we get to see you there as well. This is the tail end, Magic. I'm going to ask you the last question. But before we do that, guys, we are running a giveaway right now. Enter hashtag spread the magic in the chat to win a Kid Arcade exclusive. And when I mean exclusive, he gave away only 24 of these for free. And this is coming on my own PC. And this is this gold VeVe logo that Kid Arcade drew.
I need one of
Yes.
those.
I'm go enter, spread the magic.
Enter, yes, enter.
They're gonna say it's rigged if I win.
Somebody in the chat will win this. And like I said, there's only 24. He gave these away for free. You can't get these anymore. I don't even think he has any one of these anymore. On top of that, someone will also win this True Podcast slab. This is a art from Davo, and it's a depiction of my family, basically, as our favorite Disney DC characters right there. But on top of that, Magic, this is going to you. This is an exclusive Kid Arcade Steamboat Willie. There's only 20 of these made, and you can only have gotten these from a blind box that he did. So
sweet.
You're getting to get this
Thank
one,
you,
and you're
Arcade.
also, yeah, there you go. And then also you're getting this. So these will come to you. And then someone in the chat will win this. It's the first place. And someone in the chat will win this. That's the second place. And that's what we're giving away today, guys. I want to thank the audience for coming and hanging out and having this nice conversation with Magic. Magic, it was really awesome having you on the show. You're always welcome to come back. We're just like a regular, easygoing show. So if you ever see us and you hear anything you want to like add 2 cents, or if you want to come up, you're always welcome. And guys, enter the giveaway right now. Final question, Magic. And this is the one we ask everybody. What would you like to ask us?
I have the perfect question because with I mean, I'm not a regular content creator.
Stop. Yes, you are. Come on.
My
You are a
personal
regular content
definition
creator.
of it. And how and you know, I've got family too, so I get it, and I'm past that stage. I remember that stage well. How do you guys do it?
Well, let's so
And you're in almost like every single space too on top of it. Like how?
So essentially, let me rewind. So basically, I'm in communications. Half the time when I'm in a space, I'm at work. And so I'm like one of these guys and I work in a lot of server rooms, so it's noisy. So I put in headphones a lot of times, and it's like either I can listen to music or I listen to spaces. So that's why I'm normally in spaces. I'm usually either sitting in a server room or I'm working half the time during the day. Now at night, streaming is easy for us. So it's turn the camera and go. Now the production part, that's probably where you're trying to get at. Like how you're doing all these fancy things. So I've had 2 years to basically massage and hone these productions. So there's a little word I like to use, and I tell everybody this is templates. I've created templates for myself, and I've spent a whole year last year doing these templates to where now when we're running these shows, it's just the same template. Like Aloha Friday has a template. And then I take that template, I duplicate it, and now I have Enter the Verse. And all I do is drag and drop anything that I want in these templates. And then you see like an intro, like your intro. That was a template from this show that you're sitting in right now. And all I did was remove the content of Aloha Friday and put in the content of Crypto Magic Hour. That's very it. I found you guys pictures online. And then all I had to do was look for like certain videos that were crypto related. And I dumped it into my template. So a lot of times, so last year when we first started Magic, it was kind of like, let's turn the camera and go. And I told her, well, I want to get this a little bit more production because I'm a person that likes to create and I want things to look a certain way. I'm very structured. So like when we do a show, there's like a start, a middle, and an end. Like when we had you on, we don't have a script, but we map out how we want to direct the show before we have any guests on, because we don't want to be up here and just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, because then we kind of waste time. We waste your time, and we don't want to waste your time. So we structure everything. Everything is templated. I use AI sometimes, not all the time. I know some people like to like copy people's transcripts and stuff. I don't do any of that. It's just been a year of getting everything ready, creating these templates. So now this year, all these new shows, it's just a template. All I do is drag and drop, get it in there. So I can probably create for our show mainly. For someone else's show is a little bit different, but for our show, if I wanted to create a new one, it'll probably take me 2 hours to do the production. And then after that, it's just drag and drop. Everything's all set up here on my timeline. You and Dave kind of saw what I had here. I kind of showed. It's a lot more longer than that, but it's just mainly creating stuff, templates, and heading to the races. Dee does everything from the coordinating with the guests to writing up the questions. So it's a team effort there. And then our daughter, she's actually at a sleepover right now. She would be here with the little prince, but she also helps us well. So, and originally we only had 2 shows. Now we got 5. So it's a little bit difficult. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, and I'll probably have to scale back one of the shows, but that's how we're doing it right now. And also we still have the family life. So we make sure that we structure time like, okay, I have an hour, I'm going to make content. Then we're going to spend 2 hours with the family. And then after everyone goes to sleep, I'm going to have another 2 hours, do content. And then I got to work on my regular work stuff. So Dee is really good at scheduling stuff out for me. And she has been a big help. So besides the templates, Dee is 100% part of the reason why we were able to flow here.
It's really impressive, guys. Like, seriously, it's really impressive. And do you mind me asking what program you use to do those intros?
Absolutely. So I use Movavi Video Suite. And so I actually, there's 2 ways you can use Movavi. You can either pay for the monthly or yearly subscription or buy the entire program. I own the entire program. On top of that, guys, I have a really powerful computer that is all right off, you know, if you know how to work your taxes. Basically, I have a gaming computer here, and, you know, so I was already ready for the VeVeverse. And so in reality, even for VeVeverse content, like that's the only reason I'm able to do it smoothly is because I spent a lot of money on this machine in order to make that happen. So amongst other things. So besides the templates, it's also your gear. If you have really good gear, then you're not going to have an issue. So
cool.
Anything you want to add?
You guys are killing it.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of hard work goes into it from Hinano. I gotta give him his flowers. I'm just in the background.
She's modest, Magic. She's too modest.
I'm just in the background, but yeah, it's been really fun being part of, well, not being part, having like our podcast. And what really keeps us going is, you know, the communities, because I mean, yeah, we can turn on the channel, turn on the camera, and, you know, just talk, me and him, like side by side, but it really helps. And for us as people that just like to talk people's heads off, when we see like people in the comments, it kind of it gets you to like another subject, like, oh yeah, and then start talking about that. And sometimes it just kind of like what do you call it, turns into a tumbleweed, or what is the analogy, a tumbleweed or snowflake? Is it a snowflake?
A snowball turns into an avalanche.
Snowflake. Oh my god, turns into a snowflake. No. But yeah, it's just, you know, our podcast is about the community, and, you know, without people, we don't have a community. So it goes hand in hand. Our podcast and the community is all one. And yeah, it's fun. Like I said, it's really fun. Even though we have this little dude over here that likes to make a lot of noises, especially when I'm the one talking. So I have to talk really fast. Yeah, he's producing. He's making sure I'm on track. But yeah, it's been fun.
Oh, and he's tired.
He's tired.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's
We're
all.
almost done, buddy. But also, real quick, I also want to give a shout out. So you say, it takes a village, right, Magic? You said that in the past of this stream, and I want to give a shout out because besides the templates, my awesome wife, we also have a team involved with the Real Uncommon podcast, and I really want to stress this. If it's not, and I'm gonna say our team, we have the biggest bro, we have Raven, we have Video Shame, we have Atem, we have Bones. Am I missing anybody else? The list goes on, but we do have a team. But those people that I've mentioned, and we never ask them. That's the thing. We never ask them for any help or can you do this? They literally said, can we help you with anything? Let's do this. Or they would like just do things without even like saying anything or volunteering. They just wouldn't do it. So it really does take a village, and we do have a team under the Real Uncommon podcast. You guys, I mean, you see them on VeVe Radio. And they're diehards and they help us out a lot. And it goes back to what you were saying when someone went to you and like asked you for your autograph. Like, I'm a very humble person and I don't really think I'm famous or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, I am just a dude up here that turned on a camera with his wife, and I'm just here trying to perpetuate this space, because if this space succeeds, we all succeed with this space. And so that's really the reason we're here. But to have someone like say, you're famous. And I'm like, I'm not famous. And I remember this, and he's in here, Mission. I see you. He's like, you're famous. I'm like, we're not. I'm like, no, but to us you are, because we've been watching you guys on TV for a year, and it just blew our mind. And like, and then I went to sign the thing, and I'm like, oh, I almost signed my real name, right? And I'm like, I got to put my stage name, right? And so, but it was such a surreal thing, and it goes back to like, it takes a village, and you're right. And, we all have our peoples in this space, regardless of what communities you are. And, it's a special thing to have your people in this community, this third place. So if that made any sense.
Totally.
So shout out to our people right there. D, anything you want to add before we let Magic go? I think we've held her here long enough.
No, so it's all good. I hope we answered your question, Magic. Like I said, we go on a tangent sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what was the question? But yeah, that's Hinano said it. I said my piece. But yeah, that's all about the community for us, and it's fun.
All right. Well, Magic, last words while I get the giveaway tool. Any final words of inspiration for the audience? We have about 200 people watching right now. Sure.
First off, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I've really, really enjoyed the conversation. I personally love the tangents because I feel like it helps add like new aspects to the conversation. I've done a lot of interviews and things, but like the tangents are what give you, fresh new things that you didn't know. People probably found out stuff that they didn't know about me before. And likewise, I, learned about you guys more. And so I love that. I love when things just kind of go off the rails a little bit in the best way. Like, we can just talk about anything and everything. I think like the more natural it is, like the better like content you get, you just get sort of that unfiltered content. So yes, thank you for having me on. It's been a long week. It's ironic too that this journey has been some of the brightest and darkest days in my life. It's been very much of a roller coaster, and at times very hard to navigate. At other times you're on a high. You can get humbled very, very quickly. And, it's just meant a lot to me to represent this shirt tonight for Comics and Crypto, because that was a huge blow this week. I found out about that right before going live with Dave on Monday. It came public, I think, the following day, but that was brutal. And that talks, it's all about community, because man, I'm just so grateful that I got to meet such an amazing person like Kevin. He was truly, truly, truly special. And I just think that if you have somebody in your life that you love so deeply, or so you admire so much, or whatever, you've not maybe vocalized it, like if you get the opportunity to do so, just do it. Like I wish I had said so much more to him about what he meant to me. He and Sean were the first two people I ever met in real life in the community. They came to my home. Two strangers that I had never met, I had in my home. And that was literally the start of my in real life event journey. And they were just two beautiful, amazing human beings. And after meeting them, I was like, I need more of this in my life. I need to be surrounded with just sensational human beings such as these. And yeah, he'll be dearly, dearly missed. And I love him so much. And yeah, just keep those you love close and don't forget to tell them that.
Hey, to live in our hearts and our memories is to live forever, everybody. And, it's a short life. Live it the best. So rest in love. And I say we run this giveaway. How about that, Magic?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, guys, good luck. This is for the Kid Arcade exclusive, only 24 minutes of the VeVe Gold logo, and also one of our True Podcast slabs that gives you utility into our Discord. Let's see who is going to be the magical winner today. And thank you, Magic, so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Mr. Champ. Let's go, Mr. Champ.
Hello.
We have your wallet address. We will send this to you tomorrow. Hopefully we don't forget. Sometimes we forget and we do it a little bit later, but we always honor it. So congratulations to you, Mr. Champ. But we have one more. This is for the True Podcast slab and the last winner of tonight's giveaway. And happy Aloha Friday, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend. DDS! This hands are for you, brother. Thank you so much. And that's the show, you guys. Magic, we will send you these assets to you a little bit later. We'll have to get your wallet address. And that's it, you guys. D, close out the show.
Well, first of all, I just want to say a huge bless you. A huge thank you for your time. I know you're a busy mom, busy woman in general. So thank you for your time and coming on the podcast and really sharing about your life, about collecting, about your journey. There's a lot. I've heard some like stories in spaces and stuff, but to have you like come on this today and just kind of share more of your personal life, it's been a great conversation. So thank you for that. And I just hope that everyone that's been watching and listening appreciate that as well. And I just also appreciate everyone for coming and supporting Magic and supporting us, the podcast, the community, and just hope that everyone just takes this in stride and has a really nice weekend. And as I always say, be kind to one another and just support each other however and whenever you can. So yeah, big mahalo nui to you, Magic, for coming on Aloha Friday.
Let's go.
Guys.
And you know what? This was really cool because I really feel like we finally all got to know each other better on this stream today. And that's kind of the whole point of Aloha Friday is, if we've never met in person, this will be a good icebreaker. If we have met in person, this is a good way to continue the conversation. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing us to get to know you and vice versa. And also for the audience for getting to know all three of us a little bit better throughout this process that we like to call Aloha Friday right here. And that is the show, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with another one. Until the next time, have a good weekend. Take care and aloha.
So tune in every week and join the ride with a real uncommon podcast. And we're here to provide